Hi, my name is Moti Sagi and I'm the head of competitive intelligence in Checkpoint Software Technology. This is a Checkpoint response to Palo Alto Networks sales pitch that was published on March 2016, showing Mark Mclaughlin, the CEO of Palo Alto Networks, basically giving the core sales pitch that they use on their customers, and we wanted to give some comments on it. It was William Edwards Deming that says, "In God we trust, all others must bring data." We believe when you pitch something, you should have data backing it up. So let's begin with Mark basically describing the core value proposition of Palo Alto Networks.
We're going to safely enable the use of all your applications on the network. We're going to stop all known threats. And if there's an unknown threat, we're going to turn it into a known threat as fast as we possibly can. And we're going to constantly reduce that time to turn it into a known threat, because if you can do that, that leads to prevention.
Okay, so I have to say that we share the same vision. Prevention is important. Prevention is much more important than detection only. But do Palo Alto Networks really prevent threats? Let's look at what Palo Alto Networks can do about threats. So this is from their documentation of their wildfire. Let's read the thing that is marked in yellow and red. Wildfire then generates signatures to recognize the newly discovered malware and makes the latest signatures globally available every 5 minutes. Meaning, Palo Alto Networks cannot prevent patient zero infection, meaning initial infection of malware to the network. It can only do so after at least 5 minutes, usually much more than that, because you also have the emulation time, effectively not preventing the first infection on the network. And once the first infection on the network occurs, the malware can propagate laterally very, very easily. There's a better way. The checkpoint way is to hold connections until they are fully inspected and deemed benign. So this is very, very effective in emails, but can also be effective on web. But sometimes it can create some response times issues, and for that we have something even better called the threat extraction. The threat extraction on the fly takes every document that passes through it that might contain like ransomware and other advanced exploits, and basically removes active content such as macros, etc., allowing, before the malware is activated, to basically scrub it and to get a clean copy of the file. This is real and true prevention, proactively preventing the first infection on the network, called patient zero infection. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of visibility. Go ahead, Mark.
And from that, the very first thing that a customer can get is real visibility for the first time on their network. So a lot of times when we talk to customers, we say with the next generation firewall, the first thing you're going to see is just what's on the network in the first place. And if you can't have visibility of what's on your network, the chances of securing it are very, very low. And all customers will agree with that statement. So this will give you first visibility, and then visibility can lead to security.
We also agree with the statement, but how efficient and effective is Palo Alto Networks visibility when it comes to detecting application? So this is a comparison that basically compares the amount of applications and different types of application that each of the vendor has. It has anonymizers such as Tor, Ultrasurf, Hide My Ass, peer-to-peer apps, file sharing apps, remote admin apps, and a total number of apps. As you can see here, Checkpoint has by far more applications than Palo Alto Networks. And not only that, when we're talking about average released apps applications per month, we also release more than double of the application. So this basically allows for superior visibility on a network, and you need to be one step ahead when detecting and preventing threat-focused apps. Let's talk a little bit on who was the inventor of the stateful inspection firewall.
Back to the mid-90s, Nir Zook, who's the founder of our company at that time, worked for Checkpoint, and he was the inventor of the stateful inspection firewall.
Was he? Let me Google that for you, Mark. Okay, so let's see. Let's open the first patent. And as we can see, it was submitted in 1993 when the checkpoint was established. And the inventor here is Gil Schwed. This patent it was also submitted to different countries, but this is the original patent for the stateful inspection firewall. Let's talk a little bit about stuff that they say they're the only one that can do.
Very importantly and uniquely to Palo Alto Networks, they all do the same thing. We do not defeature things based on the size. They're just throughput differences, but they all do the same thing, and that's a competitive advantage for us. In addition to that, when you're provisioning or deprovisioning virtual machines in your data center, now your security can automatically follow in the NSX environment. That is SDN for security in the virtual data center environment, and it's very compelling, and again, it's unique to us with our partner VMware. And Traps will 100% stop those exploits from landing on the endpoint.
Okay, so he basically said three things only his company can do. Let's talk about the first one. NSX certification when we're talking about network security. So let's click on that link and see what it says. As you can see, we have multiple vendors. One of them is Checkpoint, the other one is Palo Alto Networks, and the third one is Trend Micro. That all is supported under NSX, the latest version. In some other versions, you have even more vendors. Let's talk about the second one, called defeaturing. Defeaturing basically means removing features on basis of different appliances. Let's see two examples from Palo Alto Networks itself. The PA500 and the PA200 do not support any virtual system. It's not about even throughput. Another feature is called decryption port mirror. Decryption port mirror is only available on the PA7050, 5000 series, and the 3000 series, meaning it's not supported on the 4000, 2000, 500, or the 200. So this is only about even Palo Alto Networks. In general, most vendors will have the core features on all of their appliances range, whether it's Palo Alto Network with Pan OS, whether it's Fortinet with FortiOS, and whether it's Checkpoint with Gaia. And third thing is Traps. They say that it blocks 100% of the exploits. Anyway, in information security, it's very risky to say 100%. So I'm very, very skeptical when I hear anyone claiming 100% effectiveness. Traps is based on Microsoft EMET, and this is just three of a few ways that I googled that basically shows how to disable and how to bypass those mechanisms that Traps, previously known as Cyvera, uses. So you should mind the gap when evaluating security vendors, and you should know to go with the vendor that gives you the advantage, that is one step ahead of the industry, hackers, and malwares. So this is a comparison of Checkpoint versus Palo Alto Networks. As you can see, Checkpoint, according to NSS Labs, was only recommended. Palo Alto Networks, according to the quality of product, was not recommended since 2013. So this is, I think, speaks volume. Another thing that NSS Labs checked and found out that Palo Alto Networks need twice as much as headcount for management labor. And one of the last but not least things is the sense of urgency. Checkpoint, when compared to its competitors, is the fastest to respond to the most severe vulnerabilities in the industry. You can see here matter of hours versus competitors that took as much as 56 days to remediate high impact vulnerabilities. And you should go with a vendor that has the largest security ecosystem when it comes to technology partners. So to summarize, having a good marketing message is important for visibility. Equally important is to support that message with factual products that deliver on the message. When it comes to security, we can't rely on promises and messages. Security is vitally important to support your business, and you wouldn't build your business on a promise without facts to back it up, would you? From talking to customers, we see Palo Alto Networks consistently overpromise, underdeliver. We see now it starts at the top. Palo Alto Networks' lack of attention to data or facts should remind us all to hold security vendors to a higher ethical standards than good marketing. Thank you very much for listening.